Cloaked in the shadows.
Okay, Amanda. What are we doing today?
Doing cloaked in the shadows.
Yeah, now this is another one of our infrequent, isn't it? Really, it's not a regular episode, you would call it. Just an extra bonus one, isn't it? Why is it a bonus?
Because it's a special York edition.
Yeah. Now people may know us. We've been down to York, haven't we? And we went down there for your basically mum's retirement sort of thing, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, she had a birthday on the Sunday when we were there.
Yeah, and apart from the fact is, we had some adventures with my mum, which are not paranormal, supernatural related, which is
There's like all the asteroids, but we won't talk about them on the podcast.
Yeah, that's family stuff. Oh, anyway, now we want to talk about today, really, because if you know York, and the last time I went to York, well, I've done it 3 times now, to a journey. To be honest, the first time I did it was 18, and I spent lots of it in a bucket and getting drunk, as you do when you're 18. And I've been to York races twice. I've never actually really been out there in the centre. You had been to York before, haven't you?
Yeah, but I've not really done much while I've been.
Fair enough, and so I said, when was the last time you went to York?
When I was a teenager, so a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like far away.
Yeah. I said, it was a long time ago, it gave us chances, didn't it really, to have a look around the area and we talk about a few bits and pieces today. Now, I thought it's worth us doing this podcast really. So, now, the first thing I think we're going to talk about is the actual hotel we stopped in.
Yeah,
now, we're not going to name this, are we?
It's not advertised as a haunted hotel or anything like that, but apparently there's supposed to be over 500 ghosts in York, so they could be anywhere at any time.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, it does surprise me because if you look up at York itself, it's one of those sort of areas that obviously it's dating back to Roman times, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I've been seeing stories about bits and pieces. I'm not going to talk today about ghosts and stuff. I've only seen in the cellars. But should we talk about the hotel and stuff?
Yeah. So it was a perfectly normal hotel as far as we know, and I went to sleep before 10. I think you went to sleep just after 10, didn't you?
That was just the first night this one.
Yeah. And we both woke up and the TV switched itself off, and I was wondering what was going on.
Switched itself on.
On, sorry, yeah.
On, yeah. Yeah, it was like both was crashing and suddenly the TV switches on. Now, you've got to bear in mind, we need to just get the context
Yeah,
of it,
our bed was at once, well, our beds, because we were single beds because of just the way the available hotel rooms sort of fell. Our beds were at the other side of the room, and then there was like a cabinet where the telly was above it, and the remote control was on the cabinet at the other side of the room, so there was no way we could have like accidentally knocked it or anything. It just came on by itself.
Yeah. It's one of those ones where we've both been asleep by now, haven't we? And it just clicks on like that. We didn't say anything, did we?
No. I've thought maybe there was some sort of setting, and I looked at the settings on the TV, and there was an option to do a setting, but there was no time set for it to come on. But if it was, it's just as strange, I think, because it means that the people that own the hotel actually purposely set it up like that.
Listen, we're not going to give the publicity on, but yeah, yes. But if people are wondering, did it happen to us on the Saturday and Sunday night? Well, I turned the plug off for the TV on the Saturday and Sunday night, make sure of it. But like it was one of those hotel rooms, it was quite warm in the hotel, and they wanted it anyway. We were right up in an attic. In the morning it was fairly cool, but in the evening it was like it's sun pouring down and stuff. I thought I don't want 2 more nights, so I was not asleep in the TV flicker like a bit. Well, I said when it happened, it was like woke up, didn't we? Suddenly, parents.
I was confused because I didn't know what happened. I was like, what's going on?
But there's nothing like no static energy, nothing was there.
No.
Just
I don't know how long it had been on when I woke up.
I mean, it clicked on.
I think you were already awake when I woke up confused.
Yeah, I woke up before you, so it woke me up. That's why I'm pretty light sleeping the best of the time, and it was just very, very, very strange. But anyway, what we're going to do is we'll do this in order, I suppose, won't we? Should we stick it in order? Like it would be, give us an order, because when we got to York on the Friday, what we're going to do, we're going to just take a walk down. We basically got there early afternoon, didn't we?
We were walking to the hotel with our suitcases and we spotted... Did we spot the sign on the way there?
Yeah, we did, yeah. And it was walking down. I'm not really going to tell where it was, but yeah, we did, and we were walking down and we saw it. Then I thought, oh, because we did. Amanda's mum was going to come down and was wanting to see us on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Stop at the same hotel in different rooms.
Yeah.
And then we were basically do Friday night. We were going to go get back to eat something, weren't we? Just chill.
Yeah. And I'd sort of debated I wanted to go on a ghost walk, but I didn't. I thought I'd have to look online and find out where it came from and stuff. And we saw the sign that said about the ghost walk at 7:30, so I think we made a point to sort of get there in time, didn't we?
Yeah. It was normal because we got there. We went down to one by Guy Fawkes, his name is. And he's been doing this 41 years, but okay, which I can't remember going, isn't it? So, and he was like, he was nice guy actually, I liked him actually. But the ironic thing was, it was outside a pub called The Evil Eye,
Which is also supposed to be home.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was the one where that pub was in the 1600s, wasn't it? But they reckon there's a cellar beneath the pub, where you can actually see Roman soldiers getting marked and all getting executed underneath there. So there's plenty of weird stuff on there. Right, now, with the Ghost Walk itself, I have to ask you, what do you think of it?
I really enjoyed it. Before that, we'd seen something, hadn't we, about Guy Fawkes, and you was asking, what's that got to do with York?
Yeah,
and we soon found out on this Ghost Walk the link between Guy Fawkes and York.
Yeah, because there was a pub, wasn't it, called Guy Fawkes, walking down the centre. I didn't know this. A lot I didn't know, really. We got down there, and that was the first thing he came up with, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Guy Fawkes.
He was born in York, and he was baptised at Michael le Belfry Church.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. And the pub, we were on about people wondering, there's a pub up there called Guy Fawkes Inn behind Petergate. Yeah, and he was born in 1570, and he was older than I mean, he's older than I realised he was. It all kicked off in 1605. Now, people obviously don't remember what Guy Fawkes is famous for. We've got to tell people, haven't we? For...
Yeah, he plotted to blow up the Houses of Parliament.
Yeah, basically, for whatever reason, it's to read history books on it, okay? It didn't happen, did it? So he ends up getting tortured quite rapidly.
I think from the sound of it, there was quite a big group of people involved in it, and when you've got that bigger group of people, you've more risk of somebody blabbing or accidentally saying something.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately what did happen there with that. So it's, but as I said, but it was. We've got the thing that links him back into York afterwards is. Did you remember the story about this, Amanda, when he got told what happened to his head?
Vaguely, it got sent back to York and got thrown and kicked about, and then somebody stole it, and it's reported to have been buried in the same crypt as his father.
That's the one, yeah. That's the one indeed, so yeah. It's quite a certain story, really. It's been like it's... You got big links, his family all vanished, didn't they, after that?
Well, they changed their name.
Changed the name, yeah. But I've not researched his body yet, but they all came back again 100 years later, didn't they? So,
yeah.
So that's why. So yeah, it's fascinating story. So, right now, okay, Amanda, you've got something else you want to talk about next, haven't you?
My next topic on my list is about the Bedden Chapel, if that's how you pronounce it, which was used to house the orphans and children that had been abandoned. And up till the age of 6, they were okay, and then they used to get sent out to the workhouses. And with all the diseases around them, just the fact that they're so young and they're forced to work so hard, there's just so many different things that could kill them off before they reached adulthood. And a lot of them did die.
Yes, it was. You didn't read about it on York itself. It's a very affluent city now. Well, it's a city, not town. It's a city. Like I remember on the hotel we stopped in, there was a very, very posh hotel around the corner.
Yeah.
And it's like you can find this one if you look around for it. But this was like, and then at the back of it there was a hospital, with the big hospital, and the hospital was an old mansion, wasn't it? Quite clearly.
Yeah.
And then if you walked straight across the field past this hotel, very, very posh hotel, we didn't stop at this, we went for a drink. You could see the workhouses quite clear next to it, couldn't you? So like it was like...
Yeah, definitely looked like they used to be workhouses.
Yeah, that's why it's interesting town, really, this old city, really. Right, okay. The other big name that came up on this when we went over there, And I knew he was big links to Essex. I didn't know it was York. Was Dick Turpin?
Oh yeah. That we came across that in the dungeons, didn't we?
Yeah, the dungeon at some York dungeons again. That was fantastic. What was it cost us that? A tenner each or something? You got a discount?
Yeah, I got an offer. It's normally £21 each. I got a 2 for 1.
Yeah, that was excellent because York dungeon was when we went over there. We were taking like a lot of acting based, but a lot it gave you a really good feel for the area, the scene, like and stories and stuff, didn't it?
Yeah, it's like a series of rooms, and each one's different, and there's different actors in each one, and they sort of show you different periods of history.
Yeah, do you want to tell people about, and I don't mind you saying this one, because there was one of them who ended up going to go to court, and I'm going to let Amanda embarrass me. What was the story of that one?
Yeah, so one of the rooms we stepped into was a courtroom where there was an actor playing a judge, and they called about 3-4 different people up, didn't they?
Yeah.
And one of them was our very own Andy.
What's funny that one? What's funny?
And the crime he was accused of was dressing up in women's clothing, stealing lipstick, and seducing men, and then stealing their money. And that just explains where my missing lipstick's gone, really, doesn't it?
I used to spend, I need tights and used to spend it, so. But it was really fun that was in. It's well worth the time that was. Now, when we're over there, we did go on a boat trip as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
So that's not supernatural related, but it gives a little bit more into the
Yeah, it gives a little bit more about Guy Fawkes and sort of backed up what we've learned on the ghost tour.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talk about Vikings and things like that.
Yeah, and before we go on to Dick Turpin, so I'd like to say about him, because we also went to the Yorick, didn't we?
Yeah, the Yorick Centre.
Yorick Centre, like the Vikings, where big restoration had been done, and this was really good as well, this part one. Was instead of having just all the remains of what they found in this big excavation in the village, what they went and did was they did like it's almost like an AI, wasn't it, really?
It's like a little ride, I suppose, because when you look at the building from the outside, it's not very big, but they've made the use of the space because there's like a track on there, and then you go on like what looks a bit like a Viking shape, and you go up and along the track, sort of zigzagging, and in between each one they've got different sort of exhibitions with like models, don't they?
Yeah, more. Yeah.
Like what the people were like in the Viking times, and then like a voiceover that tells you. And you could also choose what language as well. So
yeah.
It's like if it's not English, it's like there's lots of different choices of the language that tells you in your own personal one.
Yeah, that was excellent. That was really good. That was. I think the dungeons was more supernatural side.
Yeah.
But it's more relevant to this. But the Viking one, I think, was interesting people knowing about. Now, I do want to quickly backtrack as well. So I'll tell you that people look about who Dick Turpin was. I actually remember this because there was a TV series for Dick Turpin when I was growing up, in the 70s. With, I think it was, I'll come back to him another day. I've not seen it since the last few years or two. But Dick Turpin himself was baptised on the 21st of September 1705 and was executed on the 7th of April 1739. And his way he's introduced talk is basically, he was born over in Essex, but he was executed in York for horse theft. And it's got that sort of common mythology base about him. That's why, because it was like, it started all off basically. He moved to Yorkshire back in 1737 and was found to be having 2 new accomplices, one of which may have actually shot and killed. And then basically he became quite known for being a horse thief and doing lots of the old highway robberies.
Yeah.
If you remember like Adamant's on Stand and Deliver, like the white highwaymen, that's what they were really.
Sat next to me actually, when we were on the recreation of it, that makes you feel like you're in the carriage and you're being robbed.
Yeah, Turpin himself obviously, he's become such a legend really. After his execution, he romanticises his dashing and heroic and his ballads of popular theatre in the 18th and 19th century, and in television as well. So I mean, it's like, he's like a fascinating man, so I've just quickly read up on that. So the only thing I've got to talk about today is the Golden Fleece. Is that same view as well? Right, okay. The Golden Fleece came from our friend Jen, didn't it? I used to work with the unit as well.
Yeah.
And when we were over there, it's just, I hadn't heard of it. Yeah, you hadn't heard of it.
No.
Yourself. And when we were over there with Amanda's mum, we didn't drag her in this. We let her send her onto
We sat at the chocolate factory.
Yeah. We just went to a mall and looked at tea, that's all.
That's why. Was that better?
Yeah. Now, it's the Golden Fleet itself, like it's a replica of indeed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do your research come up with it was built in 1503? Mine seems to say.
Yeah, I have, yeah. So it's reported to be haunted by up to 15 different ghosts, including Lady Alice Pettit, who was the mayor's wife around 1702.
With Alice itself, what I concerned with it, she's often still seen to this day wandering the corridors of the hotel, moving furniture and walking up down staircases in the small house. The one that seems most people is One-Eyed Jack.
Yeah.
He was often seen wearing a 16th, 17th red coat carrying a pistol in the bottom half of the bar. He's joined by a grumpy old man, not me.
Are you sure?
Yeah, also seen in the bottom bar of double. The one that sounded most sad was a young boy from Victorian times who was trampled to death on horses and was represented with got bars. That's just tip of the iceberg of that bar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tell us people what your impression was when they went in there. We went in swapped with a quick half diet coat, didn't we? So?
Yeah, they're obviously like, advertising the fact that it's haunted, or supposedly haunted. Because they've got like a little cabinet with a skull in it, haven't they?
Yeah.
And like different images on the walls and things about like the ghosts and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's very, very dark. Pub was on, wasn't it, really? Because
it was featured on Most Haunted as well. I don't know exactly when it was, but it's...
yeah, they really
I think the Most Haunted team visited it.
Yeah, I said it's an interesting pub because it was like, you really felt, didn't you, I think what they're trying to do, because the pub itself, I know, was rebuilt in '83. So obviously they're probably trying to keep it to the old-fashioned sort of feel.
Yeah.
It gives a lot of pubs and bars you're going nowadays can be very bright.
Yeah. I'm
not saying over the top places, but a lot brighter. That was very dark, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite very, wasn't it? It was with the pub being very dark. It was very, very. You get that sort of feel, didn't it? Where it would have been back in the old days, definitely.
Yeah. Like you step down the street and it's like all cobblestone and everything, sort of roads and like roads that look like alleyways but have actually lead to somewhere or even have shops inside them.
Yeah,
I like that.
There was a street, wasn't there, where, and I didn't even know the name, it was around the back of the market. That was set up like an old Victorian street. Well, you had people walking around the streets dressed up, didn't you? So that's why it was very, 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 very interesting when I said it. It was just one of those sort of places where, it was, you can definitely see like I said, it's how it was back then, and it gives an awful lot of history to the place. And
it feels like there's a lot of history in York, and it's like we live in Manchester, and it doesn't feel like there is a lot of history in Manchester, which there probably is because every town's got history, but we just don't really embrace it the way York do.
No, I think as well it's one zone where it is usually as a big tourist attraction, but I think it's important that people know about it.
Yeah.
That's why it's interesting enough, like obviously our nephew and my sister's lad. I was WhatsApping bits about this, and I think he's finding an assistant now to go around there, and he's at that age, 15, he's interested in that sort of stuff. And what we know of him, he'll love it in York, wouldn't he? Straight away, wouldn't he? So it's not.
Lots more big things like that.
Yeah, now that place isn't a bit, so yeah. But so that's all it was there, was just give you a quick overview. It's like it's on the ghost walks, we need to state as well, there was a number of ghost walks going on, wasn't there?
Yeah,
So
if we have to go back, we'll have to go on a different one, and they also have a one that's on the bus as well. So
yeah.
You'll be sat at the top, and it's a bit like the tours that you do, but ghost themed.
Yeah, well, the one that we will go on next time we go to York is the catwalks.
Oh yeah, we discovered that on the last day, and it's like you took one look at my mum. There was nowhere she was going to go walk around, not looking for cats.
No, I think that was that was done in like the cat. So there's a shop in York, near one restaurant we went. And basically designed some cat ornaments, and they had them advertised outside the catwalk. So I think it was a bit of a joke.
I think it's a bit like when we went round Stockport and we tried to find all the frogs.
Yeah.
It's like that, but trying to find all the cats that are hidden in different places, not
Yeah.
actual cats.
Exactly. And I think it was a bit of a joke. But listen, we do it again. We'll go there that again. And like when we actually finished off with Trevor's Met Ghost Walk, now we walked back round, didn't we? And we camped 2 of us on the Friday night, didn't we? And I saw at least 3 other people down and knocking around doing it on Saturday night. So it's one of those ones where if you're going to York on it, it is big business, don't you?
Yeah, it's very competitive as well, because the guy that took us around was telling us some of the stories, and he was saying about like a lot of the wood guides have like stolen his stories.
Yeah, I think he came up with about 5, 6 stories, I think, but he could be right with it. It's one of those ones where we were, 8 people at night, didn't we? And he was telling us, and I believed him in this. I did. He had 8 people the night before. I thought to myself, like, you think that, like, be trying to deal with people like that, it's like, yeah, we're both used to talking to people, aren't we? Like, they're doing readings with people. Would you do 80 people on a big tour like that?
No, I don't think I could. I could actually imagine myself working at somewhere like the York Dungeons. But
Yeah.
I don't think I could imagine myself actually being like a ghost walk tour guide.
Yeah, so I said, guys, those that's what it was today, and we enjoyed it. And we will definitely go back again. So watch out. York Adventures #2, maybe next year. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Maggie?
Yeah. Sleep tight and don't forget to unplug your television.
This is Cloaked in the Shadows. Cloaking into the shadow.
Cloaked in the shadows.